This story, Mr. Noisy. Mr. Noisy was a very, very noisy person indeed. For example, if Mr. Noisy was reading this story to you, he'd be shouting at the top of his voice. And the top of Mr. Noisy's voice is a very loud place indeed. You can hear it 100 miles away. For example, when most people sneeze, you can hear that in the next room. But achoo! When Mr. Noisy sneezes, you can hear him in the next room. Now the story starts when Mr. Noisy was asleep in bed, in his bedroom, in his house, on top of him. He was snoring. And as you can imagine, when Mr. Noisy snores, that is a snore was hearing. It sounds like a herd of elephants snore. Then Mr. Noisy's alarm clock went off. Mr. Noisy is alarm clock. It sounds like all the alarm clock in the world. It sounds like a fire engine. Mr. Noisy woke up and noted all people who lived in Wobble Town, which is at the Mr. Noisy's house. Later that day, Mr. Noisy decided that he had to go shopping. He went out of his house, shutting the door behind him. Bang! The door wobbled. The house wobbled. The whole hill wobbled. Wobbled down, wobbled. Even a bird flying high wobbled. Then Mr. Noisy walked down the hill. He walked into the baker's shop. Crash went into the door as he opened it. Bang went the door as he shut it. I'd like a loaf of bread, boomed Mr. Noisy to Mrs. Grunt, the baker's wife. Mrs. Grunt shot a loaf. And then Mr. Noisy walked along the street with a butcher. He walked into the butcher shop. Crash went the door as he opened it. Bang went the door as he shut it. I'd like a piece of meat, boomed Mr. Noisy to Mr. Bacon, the butcher. Mr. Bacon trembled. On me. Afterwards, Mrs. Crumb with Mr. Bacon in the street. We really must do something about Mr. Noisy. Being so noisy, she said. Absolutely, replied Mr. Bacon. But what? I know, said Mrs. Crumb. And she whispered into Mr. Bacon's ear. Mr. Bacon smiled a small smile, which grew to a broad grin. Miss Crumb said that you have the answer. The following day, Mr. Noisy again went shopping down to Robert Town. He went into Mrs. Crumb's shop. I'd like a loaf of bread, he boomed. Sorry. What did you say? Asked Mrs. Crumb. I didn't want to hear. I'd like a loaf of bread, Mr. Noisy shouted. Sorry, said Mrs. Crumb, putting her hand to her ear. Can you speak up, please? I'd like a loaf of bread, roared Mr. Noisy. I can't hear you, replied Mrs. Crumb. Mr. Noisy gave up and went out. Mr. Noisy went into Mr. Bacon's shop. I'd like a piece of meat, he boomed. Mr. Bacon returned the notice. I'd like a piece of meat, Mr. Noisy shouted. Did you say something, Mr. Bacon? I said I'd like a piece of meat, roared Mr. Noisy. Pardon, said Mr. Bacon. Mr. Noisy gave up and went out and went home. The day after Mr. Noisy tried again, he went into Mrs. Crumb's shop. I'd like a loaf of bread, he boomed. Hey, what? Asked Mrs. Crumb. Mr. Noisy started shouting at the top of his voice. I'd like a loaf of, and then he stopped, and then he thought, and he said quietly, I'd like a loaf of bread. Wait, Mrs. Crumb. Mrs. Crumb's not certain. Then Mr. Noisy went into Mr. Bacon's shop. I'd like a piece of meat, he boomed. Did you say something? Asked Mr. Bacon. Yes, I did, shouted Mr. Noisy at the top of his voice. I said I'd like it, and then he stopped. And then he thought, and he said quietly, I'd like a piece of meat. Mr. Bacon's mouth. So carrying his bread and his meat, Mr. Noisy set off home up the hill. Then he stopped, and then he thought, and then do you know what he did? He tiptoed show us something Mr. Noisy had never tried before. This one. Mr. Noisy lifted his front door. He put out his hand to open the door, and then he stopped. Then paused. Do you know what he did? He opened the door very quiet. He stepped inside and shut the door very gently. Quietly and gently were two things Mr. Noisy never tried before. And do you know something? And then till now, Mr. Noisy isn't anything like his Noisy. And do you know something else? People of Wobbletown are delighted, especially this from investigation. Mr. Noisy has learned how to whisper. Yeah,